Okay, Alexa, thank you. 7:46, everybody. In Homeland Security doubling down on mass deportations. We're expecting more ICE raids throughout the area today.
Federal agents making more than 1,000 arrests in 24 hours, sparking confusion over who's being targeted.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes.
The White House reportedly implementing a quota system requiring ICE agents to make 75 arrests per day.
Staten Island Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis praising the mass deportations, and she joins us this morning to explain why. So, Congresswoman, great to have you here. Thanks for being back.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
So initially, the White House said, Congresswoman, that the focus of the raids would be violent criminals, right? But based on what the White House press secretary said yesterday, it seems like that's now expanding to include anybody here that has crossed the border illegally. So do you agree with that assessment?
Well, it's my understanding that they are targeting criminals. So I have not heard of individuals who are not criminals being detained. In fact, when you look at the list that I saw, I mean, it's really horrible people. You have somebody who was wanted for murder in his home country of the Dominican Republic, 2 murders, by the way. You had gang members and leaders. You have individuals who convicted drunk driver. These are hardened criminals or dangerous people that are a threat to others here in our city, and they need to be removed. We know, I mean, people know that there have been thousands of crimes committed by people in this country illegally in New York City alone. And these individuals are dangerous, and we need to make sure that they are detained and deported. Period. And so I do appreciate what the Trump administration is doing. I think it's very troublesome and problematic that the previous administration allowed these individuals to come in, and that cities like ours were using our tax dollars to put these individuals in luxury hotel rooms. It's ludicrous. And when they were arrested for these crimes, by the way, they were released back onto the streets because of New York's ridiculous bail law, and then they go right back to the luxury hotel room that you and I are paying for. That makes no sense. And I'm glad that President Trump has stepped in here to shut this down, because it got totally out of control, and people in our city were afraid. That's the bottom line. People want to see these criminals deported.
So one of my questions that I've had is, we've seen most of these raids taking place in blue cities. Are we going to see the same raids take place, let's say, at farms in Middle America? Because we've heard concerns from those farmers who say if they let those laborers go, America would be without food in less than 2 days.
Well, again, I don't believe that this administration is looking to just deport anybody. They are focused on the criminals, and that is why they're focused on the blue cities, because the blue cities are the ones that have harbored these criminals and have refused to cooperate with ICE to deport them. Remember, we had people who assaulted our NYPD officers. They were released back onto the streets. ICE had to go get them. And it makes it much more dangerous for these ICE agents, these law enforcement officials, when they have to go into communities and find these individuals because the cities are not cooperating. Make a lot more sense if the city of New York allowed ICE to once again operate out of Rikers Island, and if they change the sanctuary policy so that way they would cooperate when these individuals are arrested, so they're not just released into the country, into the city again, but that they're turned over and detained. It makes it dangerous for everybody, the community, the law enforcement, when these agents have to go out and find these individuals because cities like ours are not cooperating.
Yeah, I think the confusion came, I hear you on the criminal aspect of it and going after the worst of the worst, which is something you had said all along that you were looking to do. I think the confusion came yesterday when the White House was questioned if the folks who were detained all have criminal records, and they said, well, everybody's a criminal who crosses illegally. And it made it sound like anybody who has come over here who may be just looking for a better life may be targeted.
Yeah, I think they should have been a little more clear. And from my understanding, it is people who are the criminals. That's what's been reported. That's what's been released. And I think they should be more specific about that. I don't get the impression at all that they're looking. And in fact, I've met with Tom Homan about this, the border czar, who is really overseeing these operations, and he was very specific in telling us that they were going after the criminal element, the drug traffickers, the sex traffickers, the gang members, and those hardened criminals.
Understood. And Congressman, we're almost out of time, but while I have you here, I want to get you on other news and your thoughts on the freeze of federal grants and loans by the Trump administration, which they say will temporarily pause all activities related to disbursement of federal financial assistance. It created some confusion yesterday, especially with Medicare and Medicaid, which were not dispersing some funds, according to some reporting. Are you against it if it affects Medicare? And to be clear, does it affect those things?
Yeah, it does not affect those things. It does not affect Medicare, Social Security, SNAP benefits, Medicaid. There was a glitch in the system when they put this pause that there was the assumption that it affected Medicaid, but even the governor's office had reached out to us saying that there were no issues, no services were stopped, and no payments were affected. So it does not affect those really important programs. What this affects is actually the federal grants that may be going out that are decided by federal agencies, by bureaucrats, right? So I think the president is in his right. A new administration coming in after issuing 350 executive orders. He has a new agenda that is different from President Biden to put a pause on these federal grants going out to ensure that they're in line with the agenda that the American people voted for and the executive orders that he put in place. For example, $50 million in condoms for Gaza. That doesn't seem like something we should be spending money on. And so that is one of the grants that had been paused in this process. But I think it's appropriate to have this type of review take place when you have an administration change.
Got it. Medicare, Medicaid not affected. Okay. Appreciate your time as always. Congressman Malliotakis, great to see you.
Thank you.